Hello and welcome to this special edition of the 77% Street Debate. This is a collaboration between DW and Trust TV, and we're coming to you live from Garki International Market here in the heart of Abuja, Nigeria's capital. The big question is hustling for women in Nigeria. What is holding us back? My name is Abdullahi Ahmed, and of course I'll be co-piloting the conversation with the magnificent Edith Kimani.
Now, magnificent is absolutely on point. Thank you so much, Abdullahi. It's a pleasure to be here on Trust TV. And as Abdullahi said, we do indeed have a lot lined up for you. So if I were you, I would stay right there.
All right, to set things in motion, here's an explainer that sets the tone for today's conversation. Have a look.
Women entrepreneurs are the backbone of Nigeria's economy. Women like Simi, Chidinma, and Ibilola are among over 23 million women operating micro businesses.
Mostly it's women that, we have that push. We are the creatives of the society.
They account for nearly 41% of small enterprises, making a significant contribution to the nation's GDP, according to the International Finance Corporation. Yet, despite their critical role, many of these women face steep barriers.
I think the challenges we're facing right now is one is light, electricity. We need our tailors to be up and doing. So if there is no electricity, we spend more money on fuel, diesel and all.
When I started my business, funding wasn't really there. It was a bit of a challenge because most times I don't have the physical cash to purchase the goods I need.
Finances remain challenging. Only 6 to 10% of Nigerian women are able to secure formal bank loans, leaving the majority locked out of credit markets. The reason? Collateral. Most women lack the land or property that banks typically demand. Without this, it's nearly impossible to scale up, invest in new ideas, or stabilize their businesses. Many of the entrepreneurs have ideas on how their businesses can flow easier.
More publicity, more awareness, like organizing more women trade fairs that will encourage women that are in business to come and showcase themselves.
This shows the resilience of Nigerian women in business and the work still needed to support their growth and success.
Powerful, passionate, and compelling. Well, to lead us into today's debate, let's hand things over now to Edith Kimani.
Thank you so much, Abdullahi. But don't go too far. You do need to earn your keep today. We'll be seeing Abdullahi in just a short while. But for now, those numbers again, those estimates stating that nearly 40% of businesses here in Nigeria are owned by women, particularly small, medium, and micro businesses. But what about big business? Are women participating there? Who better to ask than some women? And I'm so glad to have a panel that is full of women today. And I want to start with you, Zainab. Perhaps you can explain to us what the situation in Nigeria is. Would you say that women are dominant in the business market?
Women are really trying in the business market, and I think we are trying to be more than the men now, and I hope we'll be better.
So the question that we've asked at the top of this debate is, are women being held back? Would you say that's an accurate assumption?
Yes. I am going to talk for the North. I think the women in the North are actually being held back a lot, from religion aspect, from cultural diversity, from funding. I think a lot is being held from the northern women.
All right. So we'll come to those reasons in just a short while. But I want to speak to Saadatu for a second here. As an IT specialist, you are in an industry that is growing leaps and bounds. Are you seeing women participation in that, particularly in the north, as Zainab mentioned?
Actually, I would say no. It's growing, but really not. I think it's not favorable. I think it's not what we want to be seen. But there's a lot of setbacks actually in the IT sector, and women, especially in the northern part of Nigeria, because as they start, they stop at some point for some reasons.
So give me an example of like an average day for you at the office. How many women are you interacting with? On average, what's the percentage of women in your industry in the north?
Maybe 40%. So 40% or 30% sometimes. So because actually the numbers are not satisfactory.
Yeah, the numbers don't look so good. Yeah. So let's ask the economist in the building here, Dr. Jalindo. How would you categorize the participation of women in the market in the whole of Nigeria, but particularly in the north?
They take up almost 30 to 40% of the total business environment in Nigeria, depending on the statistics you find. So I think that's the lion's share.
So you think they're doing really well?
Yes, they are doing well. I don't really see the business environment being friendly for both genders. The problems are not gender specific. Yes, women have some cultural issues in terms of northern Nigeria or some religious barriers that prevents them from excelling. But I think the general business environment in Nigeria is being affected by a lot of problems.
All right, let me ask Umita, who's the entrepreneur on the panel. So we're hearing that the business environment is terrible for everyone and it's not particularly gendered. Would you agree with this?
Yes, I agree. I think it's the economy in Nigeria. This year it's just a bit slow for everyone.
And so why do you think that women are not able to break the barrier from the small, medium and micro businesses into being the owners of industry?
Because men have already monopolized the whole system. They try to gatekeep so that it's hard for the women to penetrate.
All right. Oh, well, what is your personal view on this? Do you think that women should be out there in the business market trying to fend for themselves, making an earning?
Women should stay at home and cater for their own children. Yes. They should stay at home.
Let me ask Fatima here, because you laughed when he said that he believes women should be at home. So you find this hilarious, and yet it's a reality.
Actually, it's what is happening. Let me say, we women, we don't have freedom, especially from the north, because one, they said when you go out there, you are not safe. They can't let their wife to go out there because it's unsafe for them. They feel insecure with their wife being exposed to other men, and they also feel down on themselves that letting their wife out there to hustle for money, people will look down on them that they are unable to cater for the wife, which is totally wrong.
Okay, so let me ask Awal, are you insecure about women becoming experts in their own field?
No, I'm not. But their protection is primary. Women from the north are facing challenges. The government is supposed to intervene in issues like this.
Okay. Yes. Let me speak to Ahmed, who's a strategist, and you work with women, you mentor them. So in some ways, you are the antithesis of what Awal here is saying. What do you feel about that? Because you're also a northern man.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally disagree, 100%. Because first of all, when we are talking about women in business, for example, looking at what I do here personally, is that we create a platform which a lot of businesses actually showcase their brand. And we're not being gender biased, we just open it for all genders. But surprisingly, 85% of the participants are women. And then these women are killing it out there.
Saada, I want to come back to you. How are you managing this? Because you are also a northern woman, perhaps encumbered by the same traditions and indeed religion. How are you navigating that?
When it comes to family, my own family are very supportive. But then outside, there's something that I feel like people want you to do good or be good, but don't be better than them.
I want to ask Zainab here for a second, because you're pretty successful in your business. Do you feel like you have to down yourself so that you don't become too successful for the men in your life?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Yeah. Tell me more.
As a woman, you can't be too successful. I think a man will be threatened, especially if he's your spouse.
So is this a strategy that you're actively employing in your life?
Yes, I am. And not only me, I think a lot of women, this advice was actually given to me by my mother-in-law. She was like, don't ever show your man that you're successful.
Her own son?
Yes. You have to dim your light to shine brighter.
Okay. Umita, do you have to shine bright like a diamond, or do you dim yourself a little bit so that your spouse, your partner, your father shines brighter than you?
I've always been a rebel. So honestly, I don't have to, because even if, for example, I tell my husband that I have a project, say in the South, honestly, being the rebel that I am, I would want to go. He might give me his reasons why I shouldn't go, why I shouldn't take on the project, but I will take it on. So I will do what she said. I would be like, okay, I need an advice. Do you have a guy that is going to take me around? Do you know anybody that will help me around? So in a way, I don't dim my light, but I bring him on so that he thinks it's his idea to let me go.
So, Doctor, we're hearing different strategies being employed by women just so that they can participate in the open market. But what is the business case for that? What happens when women are not allowed, as has been used, the term by Ahmed, to fully participate to their full potential? What is Nigeria losing?
Nigeria is losing a lot in terms of business. Let's talk the numbers. Women are controlling over 40% of the business space, especially micro, small, and medium enterprises. So not allowing them to fully participate is an economic downturn for the country because the numbers speaks for themselves. When women participate in economic businesses or when entrepreneurs, women, and startups were given opportunities, it has the capacity to improve global GDP by $12 trillion.
Wow.
So that is $12 trillion of untapped potential that we are losing from that aspect. In sub-Saharan Africa, women make up about 12% of the GDP, despite facing financing gap of about $42 billion US. Imagine what closing that gap will be. I can assure you that the GDP of sub-Saharan Africa will shoot by more than 20% as a result of that. So Nigeria is losing a lot. The country is losing a lot. Therefore, making sure that women businesses thrive is important. Yes, it is a patriarchal society. Yes, it is a male-dominated society, especially in the north. But balancing family needs and entrepreneurial needs is very important, and that's the best way to go about it.
Okay, now I understand that Abdullahi is waiting in the wings to come and sneak in. But before he does, Zainab, you mentioned financing gaps, which Dr. Jalindo here has mentioned. How tough is it to get formal credit as a woman?
I think it's very tough. My brother is here, Ahmed, and I think he organizes a lot of events, which he gets a lot of support from the government. But as a woman, if I'm going there to get that kind of support, I think it will be harder. It will be much more easier for him to get that. So I think we have that gap, and we need to close it.
I see you wanting to raise your hand. Tell me.
Okay, well, I would say that I kind of disagree with her. Because, of course, yes, Zainab has said a lot of things that are quite important. But also, when you are a woman, especially in the north, people usually, open doors when it comes to receiving women with ideas, or women trying to submit either their proposals or anything that has to do with that. People listen to that. They are more receptive when it comes to that.
Umita is shaking her head so hard it's nearly falling off.
No, I disagree. Because most of these men that have the funds to give, they like to ask for something in return, and women would not want to do that to themselves. It's very unfair. They support men with business ideas like, okay, let's say, for instance, you want to get a contract. Okay, give me 20% of whatever you get. But if a woman wants the contract, okay, sleep with me, and then I'll give you 100% of the contract. So it's not fair.
Sada, do you want to say something to me first before Ahmed jumps in?
Yeah, I totally agree with her because it's very, very hard for you as a woman. If you're not into, you're very reserved or something like that, it's very hard for you to get fun. Because
so, sorry, just so that our global audience can understand. So what do they tell you when you say you go to the bank and you want to apply for a loan? What are some of the reasons you're given for being rejected?
There won't be any reason. They won't say this is the particular reason, but maybe you won't stand out. Maybe your application didn't stand out or something like that.
Okay. Ahmed, you wanted to add something?
We know there is that, of course. But we're talking about long tradition when it comes to addressing women. We all know that men have to be gentle whenever women is around. We have to, put yourself together. You have to understand that you have to respect yourself and you have to respect what they are after. Because women are our mothers, of course. So there is that feeling whenever a woman is actually approaching any type of organization with a proposal. And especially now looking at, the world is tilting towards empowering women. And we are all passionate seeing women doing what they do.
So men have to be soft as far as women are concerned. They need to be gentle. Abdullahi, is this true? Because I didn't notice you being especially gentle working with me. So I'm not sure this applies to you.
I'm what they call a he for she. So I suppose that answers your question. But some very interesting takes, Edith, I must say. But let's speak to some of our audience members here at the back who I believe have a thing or two to say regarding the opinions that have been shared so far. Why do you feel this is still a controversial conversation to have, especially in northern Nigeria?
I don't understand why it's still a topic, because they've seen that the women are always going out to look for their own money. So why is it still a topic?
Do you agree or disagree with that submission?
I agree with that, because I can personally relate to all the problems they have been mentioning. These challenges, women are still facing them. I am a Muslim woman in a male-dominated field. I'm a carpenter. So you can understand the problems. Most of my clients have seen the work that I have done, but they are always trying to see how they can pitch and steal my carpenters to do the work for them, because they feel they are men. They know it better than me, until they use them for work and they find out.
Okay, let's bring some of the men into the conversation. Do you feel this is fast turning into a competition between men and women, especially when it comes to business?
Not really, because men and women, ideally, they are not the same. So it's all about finding the right balance, because as she said, it's more about men controlling women, but at the end of the day, they are not the same. Men feel more in control. We need women to come into business more.
Let's go back to the panelists with Edith, Kimani.
Thank you very much, Abdullahi. Now, he did mention when he was speaking to the panelists earlier that there is a sense of unfairness. But I'm wondering, Dr. Dalindo, when the government is working so hard to create equality, is there more that can be done?
In terms of policy support for women entrepreneurs, access to financing, in terms of legal protection for women businesses, and in terms of general business environment that will cater for the needs of the woman.
Is this a realistic dream?
Yes, it is. It is achievable. A lot of countries have done that. We've seen the success stories recorded in Tanzania, recorded in Ghana, where women businesses were excelling, and it's purely driven by policy by the government.
Okay. Zainab, I want to get a response from you, because one of the panelists from the back said that it's scary to hear married women say they have to dim their light for their husbands. I just want to get a quick response from you. What do you feel when you hear a young woman, younger than you it seems like, say that?
They shouldn't be scared. They shouldn't take it out of context. If you're doing well and then you're helping the family, they'll actually support you. So for the young ones coming up, please don't be scared to dim your light. Just go on with what you're best at.
So, Awal, we've had a lot of things being said, a lot of people not agreeing with what you think. Yes. And so my question was, all these educated women in the North, what are they supposed to do from your viewpoint?
The educated women in the North, there are other businesses that does not require you going outside. You can even use your phone to do your own business. You can do your business at the comfort of your own home.
So that will limit them, obviously, because if you want to run an industry, if you want to be a CEO of a company, you have to be seen at some point. So does that mean they have to always play small?
So that's where we talk of balance. They should balance their schedules and still balance their work. So that will help in eradicating such kind of problems.
Okay. For our global audience who might not understand what the cultural restrictions are, explain to me why it's so important to you that a woman remains behind closed doors.
Religious beliefs are very important. My own religion is of the view that a woman should be a protector of the house, should protect the house, while the husband should go outside and provide all she needs.
Okay, Zainab, I know you were really disagreeing. Just give it to me.
So I think men like Ahmed, I'm sorry, are the ones pulling us back. And from what he said, religious aspect, there is nowhere in the religion where they said a woman should stay at home and take care of the family. We have the prophet wife, she is a businesswoman. We have the other prophet wife, Nana Aisha, she opened a university and teach a lot of women and men as well. So you don't bring religion saying that religion limits women to stay at home. Religion doesn't do that.
Yeah, Omita is actually clapping. And I want to put you on the spot for a second, because I know that you come from a privileged background. But sometimes you just want to provide for yourself, right?
Yes. Okay, say the husband takes care of you, everything you need. There's food in the house, there's light, there's fuel in your car and everything. You want to get something for yourself. You might have to ask him, okay, I want so thing, and they'll be like, not now. If you don't have money, you have to wait till when he's ready to get that. But if you have your own money, you just go out and get your thing.
So Ahmed, I'm very curious to know, in your training programs, what do you say to women who have similar views to Zainab and to Umita?
Keep on going. That's what we tell them, honestly, because the sky is the limit.
So, Abdullahi, we're hearing a lot of things, but I do wonder, because there are women who also want to be taken care of, who want to live the life that Awal here is describing. I wonder what the people you're speaking to think about that.
Yeah, interesting. I think a lot of people were scratching their heads with regards to the choice of words. Allow and support. Some people think, you know, there's no conversation about allowing women. It's more or less like supporting women to get the job done. But we're in the solution phase here, right? So I would like to get your takes on what you think can make life easier for women in business in Nigeria. What do you think can be done?
Okay, I think women should just be allowed to do what they want to do without restriction.
What could make things easier for you?
Everybody around you should give you support, and then who doesn't like to be taken care of, you know? But I also like to look for my own my own independence. I have a BA in marketing and international business. I have a master's, and then I'm also a marketer in my own business. So I would not want to sit down like that, and I would love the support that people around me give, especially my husband, since he's the main character in my life now.
Right. What about the government? What about the society? What can they do to make you feel, supported?
First of all, acceptance. I feel the society especially needs to start accepting that women are also capable of doing things that men are capable of doing. Men should also be okay with women dominating in the male-dominated fields, like mine, carpentry. It's okay, we can do it too. In fact, we have better eyes for interior and whatnot. So I think acceptance.
And if any of you has the ear of the president or the minister or the governor, what would you like them to do differently from what is currently happening?
Give women equal opportunity.
I feel like you should give them funding. Yes. A lot of people don't have funds, so funding is important.
We are the next generation, and we are unapologetic.
Right. Okay. Let's cross over to Edith now for the thoughts of the panelists and what they have to say regarding what looks like a solution going forward.
Well, if you ask Awal, he'll say that there's absolutely no problem at the moment with the way things are. But I just want to ask you, Dr. Jalindo, is there anything that can be done to flatten this line so that women who want to participate actively in business can? And how do we ensure that that financing gap is closed?
What we need to do is to provide equal opportunities for both men and women, making sure that you target specific group of vulnerable women and have financing ready for them. For instance, those at the lower cadre of the society, which are the majority of the population in Nigeria. So having financing for them, scheduling it and making sure that it works for them, they have access to it and what of use. Secondly, literacy education, very important, because majority of these small and medium enterprises, the women, they cannot participate in that because technologically they are not very literate. So having programs that will improve literacy education is also key. Most importantly is mentorship. Women businesses that have thrived need to mentor other women to show them that, look, if there is, if I can do it, you can also do it.
I love that. And Saada is actually already doing that, participating in the fourth industrial revolution in IT, mentoring women. What other solutions do you have for us?
That the women be role models, because in a society where the men, they have these trust issues and whatnot. So I believe that whatever you're going to do as a person that starts, you should do it well, so that other men also will see and realize, okay, this is good for my wife, for my sister. And then secondly, where he mentioned technology also, I believe that a lot of women should join in technology field, because there are a lot of solutions. I believe that only women that are into technology that can be able to actually, tackle that particular part, whether in social impact or businesses also.
Yeah, I like that. Fatima, you're also in an industry, like you mentioned, that's predominantly male. How do you get more women to be daring enough to step up to the plate?
I have many neighbors who are not into anything, like they are just housewife. I do organize.
But is there anything wrong with that?
Yes, something is very wrong with it, because you can see most of them are in need. Their husband can't even cater for their need, but yet they are just at home. It's not because they don't want to go out, but because they don't know the way forward. And most of them, it's not because their husband also restrict them from going out, but because maybe they don't just have any business idea to go for, or they don't have the funds to go for what they want to go for. I actually do encourage them. If they are interested, they can join me. Then if they are interested in the field I'm into, then I take them in as an apprentice too.
All right, we're going to be putting your handle right there. So if you're really interested, get in touch with Fatima. All right, Ahmed, tell me, solutions.
Okay, the best solution, I think, that was given by the economist. I think he actually provided a lot of good solutions. The suggestions are really good, especially when women now are being given the opportunity where they can be able to display and showcase what they can actually do, and the world would appreciate them even more. When you're talking about especially the role model, which is very, very important, to have the specific women that have actually made it in different industries, so that others can be able to see that, okay, if women are doing it, these women can actually go this far in trying to see what they can actually do, and then I can also be able to do that. And inspiration, it's a seed that kind of creates the success, and it's really good, and it helps the community and the society at large grows. So and then again, adding to the effect of men supporting women, I so much believe that it's really, really important, in as much as we are trying to, identify clearly what men are doing in order to bring down the women in terms of ego, in terms of, what the rest, insecurity and the rest. But it's also important to really understand and identify that men are the biggest support system that women can actually have.
Okay. I started this debate with Zainab, but I'd like to close with you. What do you want our viewers to be left with? What should women do to stay empowered, to become empowered?
I think mentoring. And that's why I started my podcast, Rise with Zeros, where I bring a lot of established entrepreneurs to see their stories, their challenges, so that the ones coming up will learn from them and will grow. And I think we need that so much, and I hope people will watch it and learn more from that.
Well, I dare not get any other comments after that beautiful closer. Abdullahi, where are you? Let's close this debate. What are your final thoughts?
Interesting takes, obviously, but I also think that at the heart of the problem is the fact that the scale of the problem is simply greater than the scale of the solution. But times are changing, and that is the positive note for me. Whatever you think about northern women or women generally speaking, if we unlock that potential, the economy is going to look much different, much better, and we wouldn't be dealing with some of the issues that we're dealing with today.
Greatly put. We asked a very simple question at the beginning of this debate. What's holding women back? A lot of these women said men, but there are other multi-layered issues, but they also have the solutions of how we can go around this. Thank you so much for being a part of this debate and watching us. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.